quite figure out what's wrong with the Bombers outside of the injury problems.
Cal Murphy has been in a ton of these games at Labor Day, but all of them as a head coach on the other sideline. This is the first time that Cal Murphy will be the head coach on the home sideline. He says the emotion feels the same either way.
He's got a better chance to win wearing green and white than he had when he was with the Bombers. Even when Murphy had great teams in Winnipeg, it was tough to beat the Riders on this day on this football field.
That's usually how it went. We got the big crowd here at Taylor Field. I remember playing in a lot of them, 11 to make. Actually, and the big crowd you have out there, they're always on the field. There's lots of emotion running through this game. We usually won here and then went into Winnipeg. They'll
play in a couple of weeks' time in Winnipeg. But right now, we're set to get this underway. And if we could bottle the enthusiasm and the atmosphere and the emotion at this ballpark on this day, there would be no problems in Canadian football anywhere in the country. Westwood is going to kick it off for the Blue Bombers. Nikiasen and Saunders are deep for Saskatchewan. Are you ready for some football?
Let's go.
It's Labor Day and the Classic is underway. Westwood's kick is short, coming down near the 30-yard line. Nikiasen has it there, and he stumbled, but he held on to the football. Today's starting lineups are brought to you by Midas Car Care, the way it should be. Reggie Slack makes his first start since July 23rd with a lot to prove to hometown fans in a season in Saskatchewan filled with quarterbacking controversies. He has yet to win a ball game for Saskatchewan in 1999.
Very important game for Reggie Slack, no question about it. He has to be able to overcome adversity if something bad happens, and he has to get a great start to the football game.
Absolutely correct. Roughriders beginning inside the 35-yard line. Slack will hand out to Mike Saunders, and Saunders is halfway to a first down on a nice little run. Slack will pilot a veteran offense, and the keys to success are slot back Curtis Mayfield, who's been hot of late, and tailback Mike Saunders, who has the first carry of the afternoon. Up front, the offensive line has looked the same 3 weeks in a row after a rash of injuries in the early season. So it is 2nd and 5. Saskatchewan out near the 40-yard line. Again, it's Mike Saunders, and he'll have the first down. Good beginning for the Roughriders, and a penalty marker down on the tackle of Mike Saunders. Reggie Love, number 2, over to make the tackle. And there might have been a face mask involved there.
Yeah, Saunders going to get a lot of yards tacked onto this. Reggie Love pulled the face mask down to get Saunders on the ground. Cal Murphy told me before the game that they're going to run the football early.
Face mask. Winnipeg number 2. First down.
There you have it.
They want to run the football early for 2 reasons. One, to take some of the pressure off Reggie Slack. The other is when the emotions are running so high in a game like this, if you run the football, you get those linemen driving off, you can feed off that emotion and dominate the line of scrimmage early, and they've done that so far. Good drive started for Saskatchewan. Something they needed to do to keep this crowd in it.
It's all Mike Saunders so far. The net gain on the previous play with penalty added 28 yards. And Saunders has it again.
Defensively for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, need a big game from Benny Goods. He only has 3 sacks on the year, but he is playing well. They tell us, the coaching staff. Maurice Kelly is the key in the linebacking core. He leads the team in tackles. And the secondary had to introduce themselves in the huddle before the game started. They've had to patch it together. Some injuries and guys left for personal reasons. I'm talking about Andre Strode.
And Brandon Hamilton is on the injury list. A gain of 1. This is 2nd and 9, Saskatchewan. Slack will put it up for the first time if he can get it away. And he just dribbled it into the turf. As the Bombers came charging that time, led by Tyrone Rogers and Benny Goods.
I believe they're going to rule that Reggie Slack was in the grass, and therefore it was a sack. He did get rid of the football. It didn't cross the line of scrimmage, so he could get called for intentional grounding, but I think the whistle had blown, and they're going to give it the sack.
Intentional grounding is called. It is 3rd down, Saskatchewan.
So they did call the grounding. That'll be declined. They'll punt that football away.
Yeah, it didn't matter a whole bunch there because they were well short of the first down. So it was a kicking situation any way you looked at it. Paul McCallum averaging 38.8 yards a punt. Skies this one high. Rogers is back and will have no play as it rolls into the end zone. Not quite what the Roughriders were looking for, but Saskatchewan does take a 1-0 lead on a 67-yard punt by Paul McCallum. A appearance in Regina and tries to end the Bombers' 4-game losing streak and keep Winnipeg's slim playoff hopes alive. Bell has been taking a lot of heat in Winnipeg, but it hasn't all been his fault. The Bomber offensive line has struggled a bit, and they've had some problems on offense and defense as well.
Not bad numbers, 56% passing. They're fumbling and throwing the ball away.
Bell on first down has Rogers out of the backfield, and that play had already been whistled down. Presumably a procedure call here.
Well, again, you go back to the emotion on that kind of thing, because this is where you come out of the tunnel breathing fire, and sometimes you get those procedure calls early.
Actually, it's not. They haven't even called it that. The Bombers just got a quick start. The whistle hadn't gone to signal them to start the play. So it's 1st and 10. No foul there, and no gain there. The Riders stack up the Bomber running back, Corey Philpott. Bell is missing a terrific target in Milt Stegall, the CFL's top receiver today. Chris Armstrong has arrived from Montreal this week, and Geroy Simon will move in place of Stegall. Up front, Winnipeg's offensive line has struggled an awful lot in the last 4 games.
They have. The tackles playing pretty well. The inside guys struggling through some injuries, and they really haven't had a whole lot of practice time together this year, so they're trying to get to know each other a little bit better out there.
2nd and 9, and Bell looks to put it up. The heat was on. Bell got it away. Geroy Simon made the catch, and that's a big first down for the Bombers. Benson Donaldson made the tackle.
Milt Stegall, the Bombers have been having some bad luck with injuries, and Milt Stegall, just before they left to come over here, stepped in a hole in the practice field, injured his calf, was question mark coming in. As you see, he's in his street clothes, not dressed for this football game. They made that decision last night, so Geroy Simon gets to play in his spot.
Bell on first down. A little high, almost picked off, and it is. Grabbed by Douglas Kraft, who got up and tried to escape. He was just waiting for it to come down. The ball tipped, not all Bell's fault, although he fired it a little bit high.
Yeah, that one flew on him a little bit, Johnny. Got up there, they tipped it around. Doug Kraft kept the ball alive.
5th interception for the Riders this year. They went about 4 weeks without even one.
Bombers moving the pocket, getting to the outside. That ball is thrown way too high. Can't come down, and this is where Doug Kraft keeps the ball alive. Comes up with it. He has been the best player in their secondary the last 3 weeks. They'll look for some leadership from Willie Pless. Stephen Conley goes into the lineup for the injured Neil Smith, and in the secondary, Doug Kraft makes the biggest play of the game so far for the Riders.
Riders on first down. Slack fakes it, then goes to the far side to Curtis Mayfield, who has been playing extremely well in the last little while. Mayfield is wrapped up quickly by Maurice Kelly.
Well, Doug Kraft's got some momentum on his side, on his team's side right now early in this game. You know that they need to get some field position at the very least out of it offensively. It's a big play. Doug Kraft has been playing well the last 3 weeks for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Ever since the blowout in Hamilton, he's really picked up his game.
2nd and 8, Roughriders. Slack with time to throw and into traffic, intended for Dan Farthing. Harold Nash was in to break up the play. 0-0.
Dan Farthing was running against Harold Nash. That's a secondary in Winnipeg that has really been patched together. Eddie Thomas getting a start on the corner. Harold Nash in at the halfback. He's usually a corner. They had to pick up Reggie Love. They've lost Andre Strode and Brandon Hamilton. Really had to patch things together for the Bomber secondary.
Paul McCallum sailed his first 67 yards for a single. The only score of the ballgame so far. Joseph Rogers waits back near the Winnipeg 20. Not as deep this time. Rogers surrounded by Roughriders. 2 yards on the return is all unnecessary roughness on the return.
Curtis Gallick was hanging around the pile, and Shea Meerbrook, linebacker, backup linebacker for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, hits them way late, so now they're backed up into their own end, the shadow of their goalpost. Would have had the ball on about the 30-yard line. As it stands now, they're back around the 13. Big penalty.
Bombers moved it a a little bit on the last drive. It ended in the interception by Douglas Kraft around the Saskatchewan 30. Kerwin Bell puts it up, and he's on the money at the 20-yard line, well short of the first down. Gordon made the catch.
This is the secondary for Saskatchewan Roughriders. Curtis Gallick at the safety, and we saw the big play by Doug Kraft. Interception. Take away some points or opportunity for points for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers already in this game.
Gain is 7. It'll be 2nd and 3. Bombers send Geroy Simon, number 80, out to the near side. Bell works out of the shotgun. 2nd and 3, and that'll be a first down Winnipeg. Joseph Rogers makes the catch, and another marker down in the Blue Bomber backfield.
Major foul. Roughing the passer. Saskatchewan number 98. First down.
Arkell Trulock there.
Yeah, Cal Murphy said before the game that he doesn't worry about his team being up and ready to play on Labor Day. What he's concerned about is, do they get too high? Can they control those emotions? That's one of the keys in this game, is to make sure you don't get too high and make stupid mistakes. Roughing the passer is a good example of one.
Out to the 44-yard line with the penalty. 1st and 10, Blue Bombers. Corey Philpott has a nice hole, and another Winnipeg first down out inside the 50-yard line of Saskatchewan.
They're going to have a huge advantage.
Another opportunity for Philpott, and he is halfway to a first down. This
feels like it may be his last chance to make a point, and it's more to himself than anything else. Corey Philpott wants to prove to himself that he can still play this game.
2nd and 4. Kerwin Bell, far side and too far. Looking to Philpott again. Coverage by Willie Pless, who was back a long way. Old Reliable. He's had a pretty good year in Saskatchewan. Cut adrift by the Edmonton Eskimos in the offseason. Willie leads the team in tackle.
Last drive, and Pless held him in his tracks. A huge play, and he's made a bunch for Saskatchewan this year.
Culliford and Mayfield deep for Saskatchewan. Bob Cameron standing 3 yards on his side of the midfield stripe. Cameron has kicked a lot of footballs in Regina. And Mayfield, they've crammed a few thousand more into the end zones and all the corners of this ballpark. Riders begin deep in their own zone. 1st and 10 from the 6. Couple of tight ends in this formation. Slack can't get it away. Now they rule that a fumble. It rolls into the end zone, and the Riders are on top of it, I do believe. Was it a throwing motion?
I think it was a fumble. They recovered the fumble back in the end zone, so it's going to be a safety. 2 points for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
And maybe a little luck for Saskatchewan on this, giving up just 2 points.
Reggie Slack had no one to throw the football to. He gets hard. Yeah, it was a fumble for sure. It was tackle on the ball. Eric Johnson coming in and hit the ball. He tackled the football. Put his helmet right in that football. The ball comes out, and Reggie Slack was in the end zone. The ball was recovered by Saskatchewan, but it's a safety, but also for this team.
So 2 points for the Blue Bombers.
And they got the field position back. Then Slack fumbles. They get the 2 points in the football back.
Key sequence for Kerwin Bell, and he's on the money out to the 55-yard line. Chris Armstrong gets his first catch as a member of the Blue Bombers.
He stayed as long as he did, that he wasn't really in their plans from start.
Philpott, after a 21-yard gain by Armstrong. Corey Philpott is more than halfway to a first down. He's been running well for the Bombers, and he too has a little something to prove to the
block away from the play, and Chris Armstrong wants to make sure that every play he's on film in this game, he is doing it correctly. 2nd and 4 Winnipeg, and it's Philpott again. Stuffed this time. Ken Benson just going to float to the football, make the big play. Ken Benson is a veteran, and that's something that Saskatchewan Roughriders desperately need, is some veteran talent. Somebody
for Saskatchewan for Bob Cameron's punt. Cameron standing on his side of the 50-yard line, steps across it, and angles this one out near the 20-yard.
Just to the Bomber secondary. Rasheed Gales had to move into halfback. He replaces Andre Strode, who had to go home to take care of some personal problems. Reggie Love is on the corner for Brandon Hamilton, who's injured and back in Winnipeg. So when they got in the huddle here, Winnipeg secondary, they said, "Hi, I'm Rasheed Gale. I'm Reggie Love. Nice to meet you. Let's have a good game today." and that makes it tough.
After a 25-yard punt, Riders take over. And this is Mike Saunders out to the 35. Saunders has run well, and that's been really the most effective.
You know what? Now I feel like I want to go maybe 3 or 4 more years.
Saunders picked up 12 in the previous play to set up 1st and 10 at the Riders' 35. Back in July 23rd.
No question about it.
On 1st down, Slack tries to find a target, and he does. Into the middle, it's Don Narcisse. Narcisse extends his record. Now 207 consecutive games. 1,000-yard seasons for Don Narcisse, which ties the CFL record. Nowhere for Mike Saunders to go. Loss of a couple. Slack on 2nd and 13. Can't find a target. Now he does, under the cover. Sean.
He just doesn't look sharp early in this football game throwing the ball.
Joseph Rogers ready to receive the punt from Paul McCallum, standing at the Saskatchewan 40. McCallum angles it all the way across field. And this trickles out at about 1st and 10. Winnipeg from the 5. Bell keeps it on the ground for Corey Philpott.
The season, excuse me, and that's why they went back to D-Land McCullough, but he'd really like to have a good game this afternoon.
I don't know if they've told the band to be quiet, but now the crowd is into it, trying to prevent Bell from communicating down there. Drop pass.
Move down the line, make sure when one guy moves, the next guy moves on the way down the line.
Guaranteed field position for the Riders on this punt. Cameron lifts it out of there. And near the 45, it's Eric Gulliford. Away from one for a nice little 3. Slack from the shotgun. Riders set up at the Bomber 43. Best field position of the day for Mike Saunders. And he fires.
Strength. And he says he's never felt better in that category and strength in his legs as he does right now.
Saunders picked up 7, 2nd and 3. Saunders again, and he broke one.
Daniels gets the kick out block.
To make a lot of tackles so far. This Rider drive continues. Should be the last play of the opening quarter. Slack hands off to Saunders. Saunders spins and finds more runs.
Is a great, and that's sold out as well in McMahon.
Always is. Riders have a good drive going here. Deepest penetration of the afternoon inside the 20. And Reggie.
In the quarter 50. Well, it helps when you got a guy that's running the football. You can turn around and hand it off to him until you get a comfort level as a quarterback.
From the shotgun, 1st and 10 Riders at the Bomber 18. Gain was 3, 2nd and 7. Saskatchewan at the Bomber 17. Slack tries to buy a little time, looks to the end zone. It's deep for Mayfield. He made the catch, but he wasn't inbounds.
Front by the Saskatchewan offensive line. Gene Makowski goes and picks off the rushing Glenn Scrivener on the stunt. That gave Reggie Slack luck.
Paul McCallum, who has been good on 10 of 11, hitting on 90% of his field goals so far this season. That includes a 52-yard game winner a couple of weeks ago against the Eskfield and Regina. The Riders on top by a couple of points on the arch-rival Bombers. Ready for a Saskatchewan kickoff from Paul McCallum.
And the Bombers really won that drive. It was a field goal, and of course they'll take it in Saskatchewan, but they took some momentum away.
Rashid Gale returning for Winnipeg, and he slipped at about the...
It's a golden opportunity for Saskatchewan that's gone by.
On 1st down, Bell to the near side. He has Robert Gordon. Gordon has plenty for the first.
To kind of work through, and that's been a tough one because hamstrings, you never know how hard you can push it. It takes 3 or 4 weeks, even when you're back in the lineup.
Bell on 1st down. As Armstrong couldn't.
That's one that Chris Armstrong really...
Near midfield.
Under Chris Armstrong's name.
Yeah, because Armstrong makes that catch, and the worst you're going to do is come away with 3.
That's right.
Right? Now they face 2nd and 10. Bell goes to the shotgun, bobbles it momentarily, and never really regained his footing. Look to the near side, and there were 2 Bombers there. Bombers pick up 1 first down. And will kick it away to Gulliford or Mayfield. Bob Cameron standing back near his 40. A little wide. And he had to hurry the kick.
Behind you, Tommy!
Bouncing down to the 10-yard line. Gulliford. We can't put him on the field.
No, we can't put him on. They would if they could.
1st and 10, Saskatchewan. Slack rolls to his right. Near side, he has Farthing. Short of the... Before I was doing any broadcasting that we used to come up to this game and sit actually right on the sidelines as fans. Right on the sidelines. Slack in trouble. 2nd and 4. And he has to fire. Field position continues. This time the Bombers should come out on the winning advantage.
Well, I got the score 4-2 and a couple points on the power play, and that's been the difference.
Rogers bobbled it, got it well, because Milt Stiegel, the #1 receiver in all of the CFL, is on the sidelines today. He's the key to any success the Bombers have had, and Armstrong really has to pick up some slack. Here's Philpott trying the right side on 1st down. Good run for Corey Philpott.
They're roommates.
Well, no wonder they get along so well.
Yeah.
On the field as well.
Together. Yeah.
Philpott had 11. Here's another Winnipeg 1st down. And
wow, that's right.
Philpott. Second and 4, Winnipeg inside the 40. Philpott ran in to a couple of... And the Bombers decide to go for 3. Westwood in for the first time today. 15 of 21 on the season. His longest 51 yards, and this will be spotted at the 42. Bob Cameron will hold.
Well, it seems like something's up to me. Well, Corey
for Troy Westwood. Westwood knuckles this one. It's wide.
Well, we'll keep our eye on that one.
Riders are 1st and 10, beginning at the 35. They lead by a point. Slack from the shotgun. Looks to take off himself. He was thinking run the entire time, and he comes up with a first out at the 49 now. Tunkara's in at 1 wide receiver spot. Saunders gets the call.
Draw where he goes in here, and then Slack comes out here, and he's been looking at the corner to see if containment's been out there. See Benny Good slide in there. Ball and take it to the outside.
2nd and 10. Slack in a passing situation. Here comes the Bomber charge. Slack won't
get him there, so Eddie Thomas has 1 game to show what he can do.
Slack takes off again. That's even with Saskatchewan, but the Bombers lead the league in turnover. 2nd and 8. Slack looks a little deeper this time and wide open. Gulliford, he's gone.
He's come here.
Slack to Gulliford.
Well, again, Slack's had good time. He has time there, and by Jimmy the Jet Cunningham.
Thomas returning for Winnipeg. He'd like a big play here. He's had to patch together here. He's missing his best receiver and his best running back. Bell slides out of the backfield.
Run over!
Bruce Boyko has his first catch.
Move into the slot back position. When he came into the league in Saskatchewan, he was a slot back.
On 2nd down, it's Philpott fighting for hard yard. 10. For Bell, comes to the near side. It's Philpott again. He was surrounded.
In a big way for Saskatchewan, and it can snowball on you in a hurry.
These Winnipeg Blue Bombers trailing by 8. Philpott.
Again, we'll see you.
Keep coming, keep trying. We're waiting for you.
The game inside the game.
From the 54, 1st down. Nice play action fake. Bell looking deep. Got a man open. And he opened. Less than 3 minutes to go in the opening half at Taylor Field. The Bombers looking squarely at 2nd and 10 from the 54. Shotgun for Bell. Near side.
It's rugged.
And it's batted.
Play that slice a little bit more, slide over there, and get that snap from Dave Van Konen.
Here's Bob Cameron. And he hammers this one. Lost in the sun. And Gulliford lets it slide into the end zone, but he been from 1st and 10. Saskatchewan at the Riders 35. Slack got a touchdown on his last drive. He has done.
And he can't keep the ball for the trophy case because they still have to use it.
2nd and 1. Slack at 7th straight game with at least 1 catch prior to the 900, so he's got 2 today. Saunders.
So it's starting to build for him a little bit now.
Into the hurry-up offense for Saskatchewan. Slack.
Holding. Winnipeg.
Down. 1st and 10. Saskatchewan, the Bomber 51, and Saunders look to be wrapped up. 2nd and 6. Slack with a hurry-up offense again. Looking deep, going all the way. What a catch!
Here he goes down here. Now you're going to see 13 show up right to the right of your screen. He got too short. Rasheed Gale is expecting help. You see Tom Europe turn and try and run and catch up.
Minute 16 to go till halftime. Riders get set to hand it back to the Blue Bombers. McCallum across his 50. Tries to angle this one away from Rogers, who makes the catch.
Make that mistake again.
Kerwin Bell has 109 to work with here. Corey Philpott.
For 60 minutes.
Second in a bunch for Kerwin Bell. Swings it out far side. Bell should be able to just fall forward and pick in 4 weeks. From the 31, first down. Bell to the far side on the money.
You used to worry about hamstring injuries. Now you worry about pimples.
Yeah, Schultz has to worry about the makeup every once in a while. Here we go. Bombers with an opportunity here.
I think mentally anyway.
Yeah, 3 is almost guaranteed here. 16 seconds on the clock, and Bell gets one chance to fire to the end zone. Lost the ball. And
He goes.
Markers down again as Bell finds Corey Philpott. Philpott gets inside.
Much longer than.
From the 52-yard line, Troy Westwood has a chance to get the Bombers a little bit closer. Under it. And he nails it.
Oh, that's a biggie.
Big field goal for Westwood. And that narrows the gap a little bit. A little something more for the Bombers to smile about. They did pick up the field goal and close to within 4 points. Dave Ritchie and the Bombers, Cal Murphy and the Roughriders. It's the Labor Day Classic from Saskatchewan.
You're watching the CFL Live.
Annual drive down to Regina for the Labor Day Classic.
Yeah, they sit over on the sunny side. They'll be the ones with the blue paint on their face. This side is all the green paint.
Riders will receive. The Bombers will have the win in the final quarter.
You know, I just hope they start to call them the other way. Maybe see some green shirts, too.
What about Corey Philpott, Coach? Your thoughts on his play? You've gotten the ball to him in a number of ways.
And in the previous play, this is 2nd and 1. Saskatchewan trying to get across the 50.
And what he does well, and that's run with the football, move the pocket around, try and build on some of the momentum he gained and some of the confidence he gained in the first half.
From the 50. Mike Saunders again.
Yeah, he is. Well, he's trying to gain a starting spot.
2nd and 25. Slack. The draw to Mike Saunders, and he's out to the 42-yard line.
Virgin Slack found Eric Gulliford, but there's other players over there in Winnipeg that are trying to make the team. Shea Muirbrook is trying to get a starting spot in the linebacking core.
McCallum's kick. Sails inside the 15, taken by Rogers. And there's nowhere to run.
Lucky enough to see him come back and be part of his defense.
Bombers begin at the 18. Kerwin Bell with time, looking deep far side. And 2 Riders.
With the intangible.
Yeah, and when you look at the Bomber defense, Joe Fleming could make a heck of a difference in very short order. 2nd and 10, Winnipeg now. 2nd and 15, Kerwin Bell and the Bombers at the Winnipeg 13, trying to get something going in the second half. Little swing pass to Philpott. This may work. Philpott actually tripped in front of Stephen Conley. Moves back to around the 7-yard line. Saskatchewan should get pretty good yards field position on